Hi everyone, so welcome to today's video. We're doing drugstore favorites, and because I have so many favorites to share with you guys and so much ground to cover with each of the products, I've only selected a handful for this first video that I'm doing, and I'm going to add more to my favorites and start creating a list for you guys and adding them to the description box for each of those videos. So today we're going to just do a small amount because I want to be able to give you a lot of information about each of the products instead of saying, oh, this is great, this is good, you should try this, because is that really helpful? You know, I want to share with you guys why I love these products, how I use them, and I also want to share with you guys the favorites that I am also wearing. So I'm wearing several of these items today so that I can kind of share with you guys those products, and I certainly have so much more to share with you. There's so many products to choose from the drugstore. It can be overwhelming when you walk in there and see so many different brands, so many foundations, and a constant rotation of newness coming in, and it's like it's hard to keep up sometimes. So I just kind of stick to the things that I feel are great. They've made such an impact in my routine, products that I have reached for over and over again, some that I'm revisiting that are old favorites, and I feel like I have a good amount of products to start this first part of the video, and I've got some really great recommendations. So we're going to get started in no particular order. So the first one, I'm just going to go for whatever catches my eye first, and it's the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. I have been using this for a little bit, and I actually really like this. I do feel like it is very similar to the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer that has that kind of sticky, tacky feel. There are others on the market that have that sticky feel, which I think is really helpful for keeping your foundation in place. It kind of gives the foundation something to adhere to, so I do like that. And I normally don't go for anything super sticky, but this one is actually quite nice and has a lovely watermelon scent, and it's right around $10 or so. I will put the name and price points of each of the products on the screen, and let me know if that's helpful for you guys. So really affordable, and I've been getting into a lot of e.l.f. products as of late, and then also I placed an order many months back for some e.l.f. stuff, and I kind of wanted to just revisit some of their things. Like, I'm using some of their eyeshadows today, and I'm pretty impressed with that shimmery pink that I have on my lid, which I will share with you what I'm wearing in the description box. But back to the primer, I do feel like it's a really great one, and right around 10 bucks. It is very affordable, and it can prolong the wear of your foundation. I also like that it comes with a pump, so that's really great. I use approximately one pump for my entire face. Now, speaking of foundations, you may already kind of be thinking that I'm going to share this one with you guys, but this is the Revlon the Candid foundation, and I have to share it because I couldn't do my first favorites of drugstore related products without talking about this foundation. This is what I am wearing today, and it is absolutely beautiful. I wear the shade number 150 Creme Brulee. It has a natural finish, which I do believe is true. I think that the claims are really great. They do have some skincare benefits to it. I like the fact that it's oil free. It has some blue light technology to block blue lights. Now, that part, I'm not quite sure how much of that I truly believe, but I do like the fact that it is a natural finish. It looks great on the skin. It blends beautifully. I have used this with a damp beauty sponge, which is how I apply my foundations. But if you use your fingers, a brush, any tool that you use for foundation, this is going to look really great. And I do think the match is pretty spot on with 150, and I am pretty fair. And I do like the fact, again, it comes with that pump, which is great. I am running really low, as you can probably see, and it is disgusting. I thought about wiping it down, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it because it is what it is. It is dirty, and this is what I use pretty regularly. And I have been wearing this in my last several tutorials, and I like how it just blends and goes right over the skin. Now, I have been experiencing a lot of textural issues and a lot of dryness, especially today when I sat down to do my makeup. I noticed that I had some dryness and some peeling, like right here in this little spot here, which is very bizarre. I've never experienced dryness and flaking to that extent before. I don't know what's going on, but I had to take care of that, and then I went back and applied a little bit more of this, and I feel like it actually made it look pretty decent considering that I had some dryness and some flaky skin, but I was able to take care of that. And honestly, if I hadn't said anything to you, you probably wouldn't be able to pick that up on camera. And I know that the lighting, it's kind of gloomy out, but when you get up close, you can't really tell that I was having issues with it. I was able to make it work, and that is another reason why I love this so much. So pick it up, try it, let me know what you think. I was able to easily get a match for myself in store just by looking at the little window in the front, and I love this. Now, I also have to include the concealer. I absolutely love this concealer. I tried the concealer first, and then I went back and bought the foundation because I thought, this is really amazing. I'm wondering about this, and they're equally just as great. I absolutely love this. I wear shade 005, which is fair. It's an antioxidant concealer, again, with those skincare benefits to it. Again, anti-blue light therapy kind of thing to block the blue light. Like I said before, I don't think I believe that too much, but that is not a selling point or one of the reasons why I purchased it for myself. I wanted to try the concealer. It piqued my curiosity at the store, and I am so glad that I picked it up. It does come with a rather large doe foot applicator that is wider at the tip of it, and then it kind of tapers a little bit skinnier as it connects to the actual plastic wand part that goes inside of the tube. I like the tube packaging. I think it applies really well. It does apply quite a bit of product, so one time that I pull this out of the packaging and swipe, I can do both eyes and not need to reapply, and that's just because I personally like to use a light amount of foundation and concealer, but I don't like to overload my under eyes with concealer. And even if I were to use a lot of this, it never looks cakey. It always looks beautiful. It has this kind of, it just kind of blends into the skin. It's got this creamy kind of feel to it where I blend it in with my beauty sponge that's been slightly dampened with water. And sometimes I don't even set it. It doesn't crease on me. Now, I don't really have a ton of issues with concealers creasing on me, but there are formulas that are thicker and very rich. I would say this is very lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy, and it doesn't make your under eye area look heavy and just caked up with product. And I absolutely love it. Shade 005 is the fair shade, and I feel like it provides coverage and also brightness to my under eye area, and that's all I'm wearing today. I skipped corrector because, again, that's not a drugstore product, but I skipped corrector, and I didn't have to use my Bobbi Brown corrector or my Charlotte Tilbury. I was able to get coverage and brightness with just this one product. So beautiful together, but if you just try the concealer or foundation, either one on its own, I think you're going to be really happy. This is one that I have used for so many years, and I recently, I think it was earlier this year, I think I came back around to this, or the very tail end of 2019. So I've had this for several months now, but it is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circle Treatment Concealer. This is amazing. I have used this on and off in my routine for many, many years. We're talking at least a good 8, if not more, years. I absolutely love it. I wear the shade Fair. They also have a pink one that's more brightening, and I do really love this concealer. I apply it with the sponge tip that it comes with, but I blend it with my beauty sponge just because I don't feel like this blends the very best for my preferences. So you can try it and see if you like it. They have so many different colors to choose from, and it has goji berry and another ingredient in it for the dark circles. Now, that's something that for me personally, I've always dealt with even as a young child, dark circles. It's gotten better as I've gotten older, and I'm able to kind of monitor my diet, my sleep, and all that, and I do feel like all of that plays a role into that, along with genetics. To be honest with you, that's pretty much the biggest thing when it comes to under eye dark circles is genetics, but I do feel like this provides a great amount of coverage, and it looks beautiful. I'm wearing this today, and I love it. I normally go for like the Candid one or the Flower Beauty one, but today I decided to try this one again. I haven't used this one in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I thought, why not? And I am, again, every time I use it and the coverage, it actually looks flawless under my eyes, and it's just a couple bucks from the drugstore, and I'm amazed because I can spend 4 or 5 times this amount at Sephora and not be as satisfied. So a really great one. Definitely try that one if you're interested in something specific for dark circles. All right, so next couple products. I have some Setting powders, I have 2 of them. One of them is no surprise. It's the Boots number 7. This is what I have been using for so many months. I think I bought this when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I'm still using it. To be honest with you, it is very affordable, and this will last me the rest of my life. This jar of loose powder, it's like it never ends. And I have the translucent one. There is no color to this, which I prefer, just because I like to use it on my face sometimes as a setting powder for my foundation, but I normally use this for setting my concealer, and I use the tiniest little bit, which is why this will last me forever. I also use a tiny little bit to set my primer, just to make sure that it is not too wet or tacky or too much on one specific area of my upper lid, so that when I go with eyeshadows, it blends and looks more seamless. So really great. It's hypoallergenic. It says light diffusing powder that blends evenly onto skin, and I do feel like it does a really great job of blending over the foundation and not clinging to foundation that I just recently applied, and it looks natural. There's no shimmer or sheen to this. Even though it says light diffusing, I'm not picking up any sort of sheen to it. I think it's pretty much matte looking on the skin, and I want to say this is a couple bucks, like $12-ish. I think the Boots number 7 or the number 7 brand is a little bit more expensive than like your CoverGirl, your L'Oreal, or Revlon, but you can get them at Target or online. So a setting powder that I do like that has a little bit of glow to it that makes the skin look just extra pretty without it looking disco ball-y, without looking like you just took a highlighter and dusted your entire face, which if you do that, do you, totally fine. But for me, I don't like to have shimmer all the way through my face. I like to be strategic with where I place my highlight, but there's just something really beautiful about using a setting powder that isn't quite matte, that has a little bit of something to it without being overboard. And for me, I feel like the perfect one is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I have it in the shade medium. It comes in a couple different shades. When I got this, the lightest shade, I think it's just light, was not available at Target, so I just figured I'd pick up the next one up, and it doesn't really look like it's too dark, being that it's a medium. I never really go for medium tone powders because I'm definitely not medium in skin tone, but I feel like I'm able to pull this off. I use this all over my face. I use it today to set my Maybelline Concealer. I also use it on my lids before applying eyeshadow. I have used this on its own and then just mascara to make my upper lids look more even and pretty. It doesn't have a super heavy coverage as far as like a powder foundation product, so this is going to be more of like a light setting powder. Very, very minimal color. It's going to be slightly tinted if you get the ones that more like match like your skin tone, versus something like this that is translucent that anybody can use. These have like light, medium, I think tan, and maybe deep, or light, medium, deep. I think there's only like 3 to 4 colors. I could be wrong, but again, I'll put all that information on the screen for you. And it is just beautiful. And one of the things that I just love about this product, not only the qualities that I talked about already, but the fact that they included a sifter. How many brands out there that are a lot more expensive, very prestige, high-end, don't even give you a sifter? Many, many, many do. I don't know why, but this powder is like $8 and they're able to do that. I don't understand why higher-end brands that charge you $40 for a setting powder can't give you that. I like that. I mean, mine is a mess because I just used it today, but you twist the sifter and you can pour out the product into the cap or go straight into it with whatever tool you're going to use, close it back up, and then not have setting powder all over. That's what I wish the number 7 had, because my drawer right now actually has this loose in the little basket that I keep this in, because it is messy, because there is no sifter, there is nothing to keep the product in place like this one. So that is a huge bonus for me, and I love that. So thank you, e.l.f. for doing that. Highlights. I have a few that I love and reach for very often, and some are high-end and some are drugstore. This one is the Physicians Formula Butter Highlight in the shade called Pearl, and this is what I'm wearing today. I did go a little bit more, and when I was applying it, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But I'm going through a moment of sparkly eyeshadow, lots of highlight, graphic tees. I'm wearing Nirvana tee today. So you know what? Who cares? This is such a great highlight. It smells like summer. Unfortunately, summer is slowly fading away here in Colorado. Some of you probably have warm weather where it still feels like summer and you may be enjoying that. I actually like a little bit of a cooler temp. Not cold, but cool, and I'm excited because that's right around the corner for us. So this kind of just brings those summer vibes, even though it's not summer. I could sit here and smell it all day. It smells just like the butter bronzer, so if you have that, it smells exactly the same. But it's like that creamy highlight. It's not a cream, it's a powder, but it has that creamy feel. I think the formula of this is pretty spot on to how the butter bronzer feels. So if you own that, it's kind of a very similar. Obviously, this is going to have a higher level of shimmer and sheen to it, and it's going to make your skin very glowy. They have a few shades. This is, I believe, the lightest one. There is a subtle kind of pinky, purpley, duochrome action happening to this, but it's not to the point where it's too much. I have used this like every single day. I have mixed it with other things. I have used other products. The duochrome aspect of it is not a turnoff for me. Some people may not enjoy that because you think, oh, I'm actually seeing a little bit of purple. I can see a little bit of it in the mirror, but it's not bad. This would be beautiful as a topper to a blush. Like a pinky blush or just any tone of blush. It would just kind of give it a little something special. And I like it, even though it's not just icy looking like you see. It looks white, but up close there is a bit of a pinky purpley shift to it. So definitely something to consider, but it is a very great formula. And again, I have been using this for so many months and I have yet to even put a dip in it. Like, it just won't end. It's one of those that will last forever. Let's move on to brows. I have so many brow products to talk about, but these are the two that I decided to pull from my collection and share with you today. I'm also wearing both of them today. So the first one is the CoverGirl, the Rich Brown pencil. This is a very, very thin pencil. It reminds me so much of my Anastasia Brow Wiz, which I have used for so many years, and I love their products. I'm not knocking it whatsoever, because if I went to Ulta and felt like buying it today, I most certainly would. I love their brow products, but they are expensive. And they will run you about $20 to $25-ish. And I go through brow pencils a lot. I do my brows every time I do my makeup routine. It's not something that is optional for me, unfortunately, because my face looks a little odd if I don't do my brows. So I like having this one that's more precise, and I use that to do my entire brow area. Sometimes I use this in conjunction with another pencil that's a little bit thicker as a more like a spot treatment. No, not a spot treatment. More of like a pinpoint, kind of like little spots that are bald, that do not have hair, that will refuse to grow back. Something I've been dealing with for years. It is what it is. I'm just not going to give it any more attention. It is what it is. I take something very thin and fine like this and just kind of go boop boop where I need it in those areas. If I'm using like a powder, a tinted brow gel, or even a pencil that's a little bit thicker, a pomade, and I want to be a little bit more precise, or there's like a little spot that's giving me a little bit of problems and trying me for the day, that's where this comes in. But if I had only had this, I'd be super happy with it, and I wear the shade 705 Rich Brown. My last brow product is the Almay Brow Styler. I like this for a few different reasons. I have the shade medium brown, and I do feel like it does add a little bit of color. Now, I've used this on its own before just to make my brows look a little bit more groomed and put together. It doesn't have an intense amount of pigment where I can just use this and nothing else. For my brows, I do have to come in with a pencil, some sort of more pigmented mascara type product like this one, a powder, a pomade, something else, because this on its own is not quite enough for me when I'm doing like full face. Now, if I was just doing mascara, a little bit of like a tinted moisturizer, or just a little bit of my corrector just to look a little bit more put together and polished, this is enough for me to just go quick errands, pick up my son from school, take him to school, to be around the house. It's very, very easy to use and apply. The applicator is very, very thin. I don't have to zoom you in for you to see how thin this applicator is, because it is so thin, and you can just kind of zip right through it and apply. I did that today, and it applied a little bit of extra like color without it being super pigmented. Now, I have tried some in the past where I can get by with just using that tinted brow mascara or brow gel, and nothing else. This one needs a little bit more, so if you're looking for something that could add a little bit more to your brow product, something that you can use when you're not wearing makeup and just want to do your brows, this one is a good one to think about and consider. The last two products, because this video is getting kind of long, is eye stuff. So mascara. This is the Maybelline the Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. I discovered this a couple months ago, and let me tell you, this was something that I did not like. When I first used it, I thought this was probably one of the worst mascaras that I have ever tried from the drugstore, and I could not even believe that I paid like $8 or $9 for this, and I'm like, this is not that great. But here's what. It takes a little bit of time after you open it for it to get really good. I would say within that first month of opening it, that's when it gets really good. And the more I used it, the more time is spent open in my drawer, and I was alternating with other mascaras. I kept coming back around this because I'm like, man, I really wanted to like this because it has good ratings online. And to my surprise, my first impression of it completely changed. Obviously, it's in this video. I've shared this in many tutorials. I've shared this, I'm pretty sure, in other favorites, like monthly favorites. It takes about a month from opening to get that really good mascara formula. This gives me length, thickness, volume, separation. It checks off all my boxes. That's what I'm wearing today. 2 good coats, I feel like makes such a huge impact. I like the fact that it has an hourglass look to the wand. As you can see, it's pinched in the center. It kind of has that look, wand that kind of looks a little bit similar to the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, which is similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. It gets every lash. It never looks clumpy. I never have to pick off clumps off of this mascara, and I just truly enjoy this mascara. I've gone through probably 2 or 3 tubes of this already, and it is good. I would not be talking about it if my first impression was still the same. I would be not recommending this, and I probably said that in a video that I used it for the first time. Do not buy this, but I promise you, you've seen me use this if you watch my tutorials for many, many months, and it is so good. Okay, so my last thing is also from Maybelline, and it is the Nudes of New York eyeshadow palette. I bought this several months back, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised. I feel like drugstore eyeshadows is pretty much hit or miss. I feel like some brands are really great and pretty consistent. Some of them will give you really good ones, and then they put out some that are just not so great. Some that are not even pigmented, not even worth the time that it takes to blend and make it work. But this one, I can say with confidence that it is really great. I've used a lot of the colors in this palette, and I just love the tones. It definitely is very me. I'll hold it upside down to show you. If you like warm tones and you like cool tones, those kind of copper colors, the golds, the bronze, the soft, light, subtle pink colors, mauves, like this brown here that is very warm tone and kind of like a reddish brown that's just absolutely beautiful. Then you have a cool tone color here. You have so much going on in here, but it's a very everyday kind of palette, and if that's something that you like, check this out. I was surprised. For 12 bucks, I have been so pleased with every single color that I have used from this palette. Only one that I haven't used yet is the Inspirer, which is very, it's gold, but I'm picking up, for me personally, I see just a subtle hint of like a greenish undertone, and that's not my favorite, so that's one that I have not used, but all of the other ones are just really great. And for 12 bucks, you can get it at Target, Ulta, wherever Maybelline is sold, and I'm telling you, it's really good, and it's consistent. The shimmers and the mattes are consistent within this palette. Now, I can't speak for the other Maybelline eyeshadows because it's been so many years since I've tried Maybelline eyeshadows. I used to use some of them way back in the day when I couldn't afford makeup. I couldn't afford to even step into a Sephora, and I remember getting a couple singles that were like $2 or $3 from Maybelline and thinking, oh man, this is so great. And little did I know that the quality then to now, it's just completely different. It's night and day. So definitely check this out. It is worth a look, at least if you don't have colors like this in your collection, or if you want something that has these tones in one compact palette. It's thin, it's sleek. There is no mirror, unfortunately. Could be a turn off for some. Some may not even care, but it's something worth noting. That is it. We made it to the end. This video is almost 30 minutes. Oh my God. I'm gonna have field day editing this for you guys, but I hope that this was helpful and enjoyable for you guys. I certainly hope that you found something to try, and hopefully if you do try them, they become some of your favorites. Now, I would like for you to share your favorites in the comment section. Tell me what you love from the drugstore. If I don't already own it, I will go out and buy some of the things that you guys share with me and try them out, because I love trying new products. I love playing with makeup. So if you have recommendations, I'm all ears. Drop them in the comment section below. You can also let me know on Instagram as well. That's the best place to find me. I'm always on Instagram or Insta Stories, so check me out there. I'll have it pop up on the screen for you. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Stay tuned because there will be a part 2 to this. I will be sharing some more favorites with you in the future. Thank you so much for being here and for being you, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.